On a day-to-day the shit changed, but you know for the most part nothing indifferent. Sometimes be stuck in my ways, weekend fucked up in somebody's kitchen, sticking my hand, I'm chilling with the troops and my few cans down, so I walk like Winston. Trust me, I wake up hanging, you hang that I'm leaving this bed, you're kidding, I'm sitting on back in the pad, get deep fried and I smoke some packs of the grass, put the feet up, kick back and relaxing at best, no I'm sitting on Riley's.
Right, good to go.
Oh, I love this wee ball, man.
Well, do you love wee balls?
I love this wee ball in particular.
That's a comfy wee ball.
It's a comfy wee ball and it's no a lie. It's no a lie, mate.
Aye, it looks like a lie. Right. Troops, we'll break it down to you. That's obviously just fell off the wall. We are in a sort of temporary studio environment. This is sort of the stuff we're going to have in the studio, but we're not quite in our room yet. We've got a temporary room in this building. And we just thought, we've waited long enough, mate. Just bring the studio to us. We are running into some difficulties, as you can see.
The war, isn't it?
It's not a great war.
It's not the best war for podcast paraphernalia.
Nah. And walls are usually amazing.
Amazing walls.
Amazing walls. We built the best wall of all time. Some are calling it the greatest wall ever built.
6 million jobs. It's going to create 6 million jobs for Americans everywhere.
Where is he? Donnie's no. We're waiting to put Donnie. Oh, Donnie's up, mate.
Donnie's up, mate.
He's not going to fall off.
He's got pride of place up there.
He's sitting on top, mate.
We couldn't like have it that it was possible for him to fall off.
No, because if you think about it, right, that picture of Trump you can see above Jamie Kelly's head now. Whether you like the man, whether you love the man, whether you absolutely can't stand the man. That's a fucking great picture.
It's a great picture.
It's a great pic.
I was talking before this and I was saying like, that guy's a mad alien, bro. He's like got a mad alien, a charmed life, know what I mean? Convicted felon, gets shot, stands up, best picture of all time and all that. Like, he's just...
I watched the actual video it happening again and it's like, you can see how people thought that would have been scripted a bit because it's so like he gets shot up and then he's just mouthing the word fight
in front of the American flag.
Everything's pictured. Look, that picture's actual. Everything's in frame perfectly.
I know, it's unbelievable.
See, when he was
so we couldn't have the possibility of him falling off.
No, because when he was on Rogan, obviously Rogan's like that to him. Have you got a mark? And he's like, tiny little mark. It zinged me right here. And it was like a wee graze on his ear. So you can see why people are like, did he even get shot?
Aye, because there was hundreds of blood and all that, but then it was quick to be like, by the way, your ear's got hundreds of blood in it.
Aye.
Your ears bleed like mad.
Mate, more blood than anywhere in the human body.
I don't even know why that is. Is it cartilage or something?
I don't know if it's because there's no bone. No, there is bone in the ear. Somewhere.
Is there bone in the ear?
I don't know, mate.
No, skulls don't have ears. Imagine skulls had ears. They look goofy as fuck, man.
They look terrifying, but we had to put them up there. But as you can see, we're in a bit of a temporary environment. We've got our painting done by wee thistles.
Yep, we couldn't have had the possibility of that falling off either. No. These are men that you don't want. These are men that can't fall off. And the like the newfangled way of saying fall off and all, like Trump's never going to fall off. Know what I mean?
Impossibly.
Putin's never going to fall off. Near's Kim Jong-un.
And imagine you're Putin watching this. You know, that's a lovely painting Wee Thistle's done for Riley's gaff there.
Yep, Wee Thistle's great artist.
Me and my mate Kim Jong. And then it falls, mate.
Oh my goodness.
You think the wall's bad than new, mate?
We'd be done for
UK would be invaded within hours, mate.
Settings flat.
Aye.
Coming after us two and thistles.
I did have the thought, because when we released our North Korea merch, I remember my dad being like, you fucking watch that, by the way. As if like they're going to be like, no what? They've went too far this time.
Something's going on there.
And the actual came after us.
Aye.
That would be...
It'd be unbelievable.
Nah, it'd be sick, mate.
I'd love it.
Aye. It'd be good press for us.
Aye, any press is good press, mate, especially like a mad dictator wanting your head on a stick.
Imagine like him doing like statements in St. Petersburg and all that. Like that. We must take down the Riley's gas.
Mate, I could see it.
Aye.
One day, mate. We're pushing for it anyway.
But we're going to go right into it. We're going to leave our thoughts on the election to the Patreon part of the episode, because we've got a man here to discuss today, which... You think Trump's a nut job? Because people look at Trump and go, how the fuck did he become president?
Aye.
This guy, look, the dance, the golf club. Mate, as soon as Trump added the golf club emote to the dance, just don't even bother voting. It's done, mate. It's done, mate.
dead in the water, mate, with that dance move, mate.
Oh, mate, we'll
There.
keep. But anyway, we'll keep all that because we'll get a lot to say on that
Aye.
on the Patreon part. But the man I want to talk to you about today is, in my opinion, the most insane president of all time.
Right. There's
I
been
would
some
say-
wacky ones, I know.
Aye, there's been some whack jobs, mate. Theodore Roosevelt, he could have been a mere shout. But I just feel like this guy is just bonkers, mate. And this man's name is Andrew Jackson.
Oh,
Andy Jackson, mate.
right.
So Andrew Jackson is regarded by many people as the most divisive, fierce and mentally unstable president in American history.
Class.
His ruthless self-belief and extreme passion for dueling, along with his contempt for his perceived enemies and the establishment, make him one of the most famous or infamous presidents of all time.
So he was dueling.
He loved to duel, mate.
Can't he be a duel?
You could not stop this man for dueling.
Wait, so do you think, what's his name, Andrew Jackson?
Andrew Jackson,
Do you
aye.
think Mr. Jackson, President Jackson, was maybe just sitting looking at a can across it and was just like, what? Duel?
Actually, aye.
Aye.
That's exactly what I like. Nothing had to happen for him to just be like, no, what, I'm up for a duel now.
Done, mate.
Aye, it's just what he done, mate. But that's why people loved him. But I do believe he is the most unhinged president of all time.
Can't wait
Because
to
if
see
you
them.
think now you look at Trump, you think this guy's fucking nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Look at his things he's saying, the things he's done. Doesn't he come close? I don't think. Because imagine this guy's basically Trump if Trump duelled non-stop.
Which he does on Twitter and that.
Aye, but like physical was like that, mate. Come down the new and we'll sort this shit.
Scrap
Mitt
it.
Romney and that, but like, mate, come down the new, mate. What are you saying? Or the Fox News guys, the like CNN guys and
Aye.
that, being like, mate, come and duel me the new, mate. Never mind all this verbal back and forth. Come and duel me,
That'd
mate.
be unreal, by
Aye,
the
that'd
way.
be class,
The
mate.
Clintons and that. Get
Aye.
building for a duel.
A duel, mate. But mate, Paul and Tyson, mate. Trump and fucking.
Oh, yes.
Trump would have slapped about Biden, but.
Aye, I hung up with Biden. Aye, definitely, mate. Biden didn't have a hope. Well, saying that, the new Biden's quite.
He's chirpy again.
He's got a wee something about him,
He's
mate.
got a spring in his step again.
MAGA hats and that. MAGA hats, is he no like snicker? Is he no like.
He loves it, Trump one, mate.
He doesn't.
I think he loves
He
it.
doesn't like Kamala. I don't think. But I don't know why, because he was her.
But he get fucking. Anyway, we'll save that. We'll save
Aye,
that.
aye.
We'll save our thoughts for that for the
But
Patreon.
aye, Biden's a bit better.
Biden got a wee spring in his step. I seen him dancing the other day. That started. He's learned how to dance. But going back to Andrew Jackson, he is the most unhinged president of all time, and this is the story of the 7th president of the United States of America, Old Hickory. Andrew Johnson,
Oh.
as his nickname, Old Hickory.
Old Hickory Dickory Doc.
So when this takes place is like during the 1700s in America.
Right.
So in the 1700s, the American colonies, they weren't independent yet, so they're still under British rule. And you had 13 colonies, so it got broke up into 3 different sort of types of colony. You had the New England colonies, that was Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Connecticut, Rhode Island. You had the middle colonies, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware. And then you had the southern colonies, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina and Georgia.
Right, okay.
And that's where the slaves were running rampant, mate. They were like, the southern colonies were like, slaves, we want them all.
Aye, geese them.
And the northern places like New York and that were like, nah,
pure
slavery's
woke as
done.
fuck.
Aye. Basically like still like it's what it's like the new sort of,
Amplified. Always
aye, times a million. Aye. So Andrew Jackson was born in a southern colony somewhere between North and South Carolina in 1767. He was born to Scots Irish immigrant parents. However, his father died 3 weeks before he was born in a logging accident.
Oh,
Big old log falls on you, mate.
aye, plenty of them, mate.
Because back then, a big log falls on
What
you.
was it, 1770?
1767.
Oh, mate, that place must have been a hellhole, by the way.
Whitmer's just like walking down the street have been like 1767.
Cowboys running wild, bro.
Cowboys and engines, bro.
Oh, mate, and the cities and that and all,
Aye.
mate. Like saloons, shootouts and that.
Aye.
It's actual sick as fuck.
But that's
innit?
what I'm saying. You get hit by a log. You could have like broke your finger to death back then. You know what I mean? There's no like.
You could have sneezed to death.
Aye, they've like put sawdust on it. But aye, mate, that'll be fucking fine, bro.
Aye, but logging accidents are never, it's never just like break your wrist or whatever.
No.
Like a logging accident's a badge, you know that? A log,
A log.
fall on
It's
you.
not like a wood accident. It's like, no, this wasn't just any old wood. This was a big old log.
It's a big old fucking log.
So he died 3 weeks before he was born. and then that left his mother to raise Andrew and his two older brothers on her own, which meant obviously they were in proper poverty, folk.
Proper poverty.
I'm talking like no got a phone, no got a laptop, no got nothing, folk.
No got nothing like that.
Andy Jackson and his mum and dad, they're living proper hardcore gypsy style life. You know, no absolutely go nothing.
Poverty in 70.
Proper
17.
poverty. If you were like, because I mean, even back then, like, what is poverty they knew is like, oh, if like you've no really got enough money to keep your phone going every month and that. Do you know what I mean? Or like back then it was like, I got absolutely nothing.
Fuck all.
I've actually got nothing, people.
Be honest, folks.
Nothing. No even got wood, nothing.
That's right, mate. It was fucking the log that killed my dad. No even got that left.
No, they didn't give me that.
Mate, that would have been a hellhole, mate.
Aye, it would have been a hellhole. So he was recognised as being the brightest out of the three brothers, and he was sent to a religious school for education. But they soon realised his insane temper led him unable to learn or take orders, and he was soon removed. So also school back then,
Aye.
I think they were literally just got to school reading the Bible.
Aye, religious
It was like, aye mate, fucking look at the Bible, double Bible.
What was like, when was like science and that? Is that like, that's like 1800s?
That would have been
innit?
witchcraft back then, brother.
Aye, is
but
that
like,
still witchcraft territory?
I would say you're still talking witch territory. Aye, easily, mate, easily.
Like Tesla and that, was he know about?
No,
No,
but
was
he
that-
was well later. I think he was like early 20th century or something, Tesla. But
So there's nothing like that.
aye, but he was seen as a bright. The other ones would just like work, fucking picking things up and putting them down and that.
Aye.
Andy Boy, they're like, mate, you could make something yourself. You could maybe read the Bible.
Mate, you could maybe finish the Bible.
And that's like
I've never done it.
I'm not, mate, I can't talk shit to Andy Jackson, mate. I've never read the Bible back to front.
Walk of 100 pages of the Bible in his shoes, mate.
Then get back to me. But aye, so his temper was insane. Like they realised that for a young age, this guy was like just nuts, mate. He just loved scrapping, loved like mad violent outbursts for no reason. So in 1780, at the age of 13, so he's only 13 here, he joined a militia unit to fight against the British forces in the Carolinas during the American Revolution.
Come on,
So
patriot.
this is at the time where the Americans are like, hold on, we don't actually like you
Aye,
guys.
with tax, mate.
Aye.
You're trying to tax us.
Aye,
That's no happening.
no, it's not happening. So we Andy and his brother and that got a wee gang together, and they joined a militia unit. His mum actually advised them to do it. They're like, you know what you should do at 13? Go and fight the British Army, they know.
Yes,
That's the best thing. Obviously, you've fucked to the Bible shit, so
Aye.
probably go out and just fight guys with swords and that.
It's mad. It's mad when you think about revolutions. You never think about America.
I know I didn't really think about it as much till I started looking into this.
Researching that. Like
Aye.
you would always go revolutions, you think Spain, like Russia.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? Like Cuba and that.
There was
Like,
revolutions every fortnight back then, mate. They're like, wait, hold on. You're in charge of us? What for? Let's duel.
aye, it's the country's got clever enough to be like, wait, there's like thousands of us, man.
Aye.
Like, there's only about 8 of them getting to the door. Like, what are we doing here?
This isn't fair.
Aye.
So he joins the militia unit to fight against the British forces. And during a particularly meaty scrap, he was captured by a British soldier along with his brother, and they were taken prisoner.
Fuck's sake.
He got kept in a cave.
Oh, novel.
People bite your hand off for a cave these days,
Aye,
mate.
okay.
Housing crisis.
He's probably getting there and being like, what? So light a wee fire there, it's roasting and that. He's
I
probably
don't-
chilling, mate.
I don't think that was happening. So while he was captive, both he and his brother contracted smallpox, leading to his brother's death. When he refused to clean the boots of a British officer, the officer struck him with a sabre, leaving him with deep scars on his hand and face.
A sabre,
So
bro.
it's like a big sword, mate, a big massive sword.
Oh my
He was
God,
like, polish my boots, Andy. And he was like, fuck off.
That's class. I'm not cleaning that fucking filth.
But that just shows, even at this age, his like, no. I
Aye.
mean, like anybody else would have been like, hold on, wait, so just polish these shoes and I'm sound.
Don't get slashed with a
And
big
he's
sword.
like, fuck off. But,
That's
like,
class,
see the
though.
way you seen Super Nanny? That was
Aye.
like him.
Yep.
He's like, no, fuck off.
Like King Curtis or something.
I
isn't it?
King Curtis. He's a legend, mate. That was basically maybe Andy reincarnated, actually. So that leaves him with like deep scars in his hand and his face. And his experiences during the revolution, including his time in captivity, fueled his intense hatred for the British, which would remain throughout his entire life. He was kept for months until his mother got him released in a prisoner exchange deal. which I was like, how does she just like go to the street and be like, you and me, right, take him, give my boy back.
Kidnap him, cunts.
It's like your mom coming up to the school, know what I mean? Like, let's say done now.
Aye. Take his sister, she's a wee fucking bitch.
Aye, she's useless. Give him back. So he get released in a prisoner exchange deal, and then just weeks after that, his mother got cholera and died.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So his full family's died by the time he's 14.
He's 14, he's been a prisoner of war, slashed with a sabre,
Read the Bible.
read the full Bible back to front, and then his parents are dead.
Aye.
And
So
he's a young teen.
he's on his own at this point, mate. In 1781, the British agreed to a peace deal which led to independence for America, who then went on to declare themselves the United States of America, ridding them of British rule. So the 13 colonies all just came together, signed a deal, we're our own people,
Aye.
get the Brits out.
1776.
But see, even after that, mate, it was saying like the Brits would be like, they'd be like, aye, you're your own country, and then something would happen, they'd be like, mate, we're coming fucking back here to fight with yous. Like, they'd never go, I thought like after that happened, it kind of went peaceful and it got left in that, but the Brits would be like, what, so you're your own country, right, we're going to charge you, see like Trump the news, like 3,000% tariffs on China, Russia.
Aye.
It's like, that's what the British done, they're like, right, what, you're your own country, sound, we're going to actual tax fuck out yous.
Aye, with trade and shit.
And then they would have wars about that. You know what I mean? It
Aye,
wasn't
aye.
just like, I thought it all ended at that point, but it didn't.
Probably how like it ended up, like, because Britain are probably saying, right, well, you're getting like whatever like exports, whatever you want us to export or anywhere in the world. They've got
Tobacco and that.
all these colonies everywhere. They're probably like, right, well, if you want to buy it, and then it's fucking, as you say, 300% and tap it.
Aye.
And that's probably how like Americans ended up being like, right, we need to start like making shit and that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like
Aye.
getting our own gold and all that, and like actually.
But that must have upped the slave trade as well, because they're like, right, we need to make our own shit. We can't even rely on.
Aye.
So that would have like upped, and it's mad in this, like, there used to see back then, right, there was a thing, I think it was called petitions, and what would happen is whoever the president was, right, say you're the president and I say to you, I'm like just some random guy who works as a fucking farmer, if I send the president a petition, no matter what it says, you need to read that out in like Congress, like at the big meetings they're having and that. And the South had that much pull that they got the word. So you could say it, and mate, you could be like, I want that baby dinosaur behind me to be the top guy in the fucking milk game here. And they would need to read it no matter how stupid it was.
Aye.
The South got the word slavery banned in Congress, so that anything that was like, yeah, we should maybe think about banning slavery, they weren't even allowed to read it out.
Aye.
So they got the word banned.
Oh, that's evil.
That's
bro.
how much pull the South had. See, because they had
Aye.
so much money for the slave trade.
Aye.
They had so much more pull than the other places. So they were like, nah, it's no even getting spoke about.
Aye. Like Virginia and all that.
Aye.
Like they're just packing. And
Aye,
they can
tobacco, cotton, everything.
Aye,
They're just
aye.
like, nah, we're going to pay so that you can't talk about that.
You can't even mention
Can't even
the word.
bring it up, mate. Like, I can't even discuss it, but you can discuss that dinosaur head in the milk game.
Aye,
you know what I
aye.
mean? It's madness. But so they're now the United States of America. They've agreed independence. And he, after the war, he returns to the Carolinas and decides to become a lawyer, even though he can barely read and write.
Aye.
Which,
good bit of the Bible, mate. Go to
Aye.
Genesis.
aye, but it's mad because if you think about it, like, you could do anything back then.
Aye.
So what the fuck? How many laws would you actually need to learn? There must be about 13 laws.
Aye,
He's like,
true.
I'm a fucking lawyer now.
Aye, mate. There was like in 1776, what do you call them again? The commandments or something? No, the commandments. That's
The Constitution.
Aye, the Constitution. Like that's amendments or whatever. Like that's like they're 20 rules. We've got like.
I need to get some rules in here, man. People are just killing each other.
There was like 13 of them, and I think they added them, and there was like 18 or something. They
Aye.
added like 5. It's like, right, there's 13 rules
But
to this full country.
What's cool about the Constitution is so they purposely made it so that it could be altered in the future.
Aye.
So like they made it flexible because they're like, right, through like history and going into the future, you realise certain things like, wait, that was wrong and that was wrong. So they left it open to
Aye.
change.
Aye, because they changed it to let like women vote. They
Aye.
changed it to end slavery.
Because they could have had a like a bit in the constitution that was like none of this can ever be changed.
Aye, but that
they
would be
left.
insane.
This is how it's gone forever.
That's actually what it's like, but like 300 years in the future, people are like, no, they came up with the rules, mate, and I'll just follow them. I mean,
Aye.
you can't change them.
I think like the amendments and all that work when it's like it works when you want it to work. So you're like, mate, they fucking wrote it down 300 years ago. Obviously, we need to follow this. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
But then if it's stupid and people think it's stupid, they're like, nah, I mean, it was wrote 300 fucking years ago, mate. You know what I mean?
Just the tone of the way you say
Aye,
it
aye.
changes the validity of it.
Aye. So he goes back, he starts studying to become a lawyer, and he burns all his money studying law on booze, prostitutes, and gambling.
Gangster.
So he's just
Straight.
he is the man, sort of.
He is the man.
Like, what president would you say would go, right, I'm going to study law, and then all I'm going to spend my money on is booze, prostitutes, and gambling. He loved gambling, mate. Like,
Aye.
he used to get in fights over gambling all the time, and it would lead to duels. Like, he'd be like, moan up for a duel. Like,
so-
when you want to sort this debt out, moan up for a duel, and we'll see what's happening.
It's so funny, like, being known for loving duels, because it shows that you've just won every one of them.
Aye, exactly, mate.
Like, if you've had more like 5 duels, you've killed 5 cunts, like, straight up.
Aye, he was undefeated, mate. He never lost a duel, and apparently he had like over like 200 duels in his life.
Shut up.
Like the people say it's between 100 and about 300.
That's so
Just straight
mental.
up, just like what, mate?
1v1 quick
Aye.
scopes, the new, mate.
Essentially, back in the day, that was it. Quick scope and rush, mate. Just like, let's do it. Let's sort it.
Settle his beef.
So he's in the Carolinas. He's becoming a lawyer. He's wanting to be like a hotshot lawyer. He's living it up, mate. He was often seen around town steaming, trying to start fights over gambling games and playing vile pranks on unsuspecting citizens.
Oof, mate.
He was a big prankster.
Is this like one of the Nelk boys or
I know,
something?
this is the modern day Nelk boy. This, like, he was just like a sleazeball,
Aye.
right? And what's funny is he was often referred to as a rake, which
Oh.
was like a slang term for somebody that you, like, they're just, like, you can't trust him.
Oh, I like
So
that.
see how we be like, he's a mad slime ball
Aye,
or
he's
something.
a mad snake.
People be like, Jackson's a fucking rake.
I like that, mate. I might start using that.
I'm trying to understand what it is. Like, maybe it's like something to do with how a rake has got, like, it's no full, it's got gaps in it. So it's like,
Aye. That's a good
there's
theory.
gaps in that man's character.
Aye, I like that. I like that very much.
could be that.
I instantly thought the Rake was a mad mythical monster, like the Rake. I've heard
Oh,
that before.
right.
Sure, have you heard that?
No, I don't think so.
I thought that was that mad. Is it Native American or something? I don't know, something like that. Like
Nah,
that's what
I
I
don't
thought
know.
it was like. Is that a big skinny thing? I thought it was to do with the way he looked.
He was an absolute ugly bastard.
Oh,
by the way.
was
He was
it?
probably the ugliest president of all time
Yeah,
as well,
sweet.
like, genuinely.
That's class.
So, total sleazeball, known as a rake to everybody in the North and South Carolina. After losing all his money gambling and studying law, he was forced to move to Tennessee, which wasn't a state yet. It was just
A place.
it was just a mad, like, it hadn't even been developed fully yet
Aye.
to, like, become a state. So he moved to Tennessee and rented a room off old Mrs. Donaldson,
Oh,
who lived in a cheap bit of land, and he was like, look, studying law, let me in. And there, Andy Boy ends up taking a fancy to old Mrs. Donaldson's daughter, Rachel,
oh,
who was meant to be
primo,
10-10.
best of gear.
But 10-10 back in the 1700s is like,
That's a boulder, bro.
aye. It's that ball, mate.
Mate, I would take this in a 1776 chick.
Aye, a 10 out of 10 in the 1700s. You've got to
mate.
take that. So he starts fancying her. He's like, I want a bit of her. I need her.
Is she a young gal, can I ask?
She's a youngish gal, aye. I think she was 21.
Oh, right. So I've like, didn't know if it was at that time when it's like, she was 14 when they
She's
get married.
40,
and all
aye, she was
that.
30.
Yeah.
But the problem is Rachel was already married.
Oh.
So technically she was married, but her husband had left, just been like, I'm out, and just
Aye.
went somewhere else. Because you could do that in the
As you
1700s.
done, mate.
You could literally just be like, I'm out of here, and go somewhere else,
How
which is nice, by
How
the way.
class is going to like a new town? Like, the only things I know is like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly and all that, like mad like cowboy films. But it's always like a guy just turns up, and then it turns out he's like in Django, he goes to this wee town and he's looking for a guy, and it's like, that's the new deputy sheriff. And it's like, no, mate, that guy's been killing people like 2 miles that way.
You can literally just turn up and be like, I'm a fucking lawyer, by the way.
Aye,
Like,
aye.
Here, you seen the new lawyer in town?
Aye, mate, he's reading that newspaper, to be fair.
That is
So, like,
nice to be able to do that.
It
Just
is.
like rock up, like just, and you probably, he gets there, you're a new human. You can't do that now.
New town, new me.
Aye, you want to have like ID on you and that. Do you know what I mean? Just
Aye.
like, my name's Andy Thompson.
Aye.
And they're like, all right.
You know that Randy Jenkins fell
Aye.
over yonder?
Better not be Randy. Do you know Randy Jenkins?
If you have associated with this guy, he's maybe mental.
Aye.
But no, that's fine. You can be the new doctor of the town.
Aye. So, Rachel, already married, technically, never get divorced because people back then just, divorce was like, you don't do that.
Oh, aye.
Like, you don't do that. It
'Cause
need
it's-
to be like something crazy for you to actually go through with a divorce.
Is it because it's like they were Christian?
Aye,
as hell?
it's like sinful to get a divorce. But they had like separated sort of. But even though she was married, Andy Boy said, "Fuck that, I'm marrying you." So they get married.
Wait, so like a marriage and happy a marriage.
Aye, doubling up the marriage. As we said, you can literally just rock up and be like, "Aye, she's no fucking married. Don't worry about her."
Never don't even look at
Aye.
it.
What's your name? Rachel Thompson. So after his law career picks up, the pair get married and they move out. He's now rich as fuck,
Yes.
got a bay,
Oh.
and the obvious next move is get some land,
Yep.
get some slaves.
Yes, of course.
When you get some money, that's the logical next move.
In 19 and
Aye,
17.
maybe no now.
No, in 19 anyway.
Imagine someday your work was like, ah, mate, I've got all sorts of money. Know what I want, man.
Aye.
They still do they match slaves.
Have you heard of this?
Mate, no, you can't do that.
They just do all your work for you.
I
and
mean,
that.
for nothing.
Mate, like people do that, bro. Think about
I
like,
was in Dubai and that, didn't it?
there's people that know that they like that sell courses on Instagram for like getting people on Fiverr in Indonesia to do all your work for you, like getting them to hammer mad crypto things and that, and it's like you're making you like 40 grand and it's like send them 40 quid. You know
It's
what I
like
mean?
modern day slavery.
It
It
is,
really
isn't it?
actually is.
And it is just like we guys that I've got I just won that 5k minute. I don't know what to do with it. It's like invest it in Indian slaves on Fiverr, mate.
Come to my property fucking
Aye.
course and pay $3,000 for the VIP package. You'll get a 5-minute conversation with me,
And my other pal that does this
mother
thing.
pal, and he's loaded it up.
both
Honestly,
loaded.
you're gonna hear what we've got to say. By the way, you can't put a price on this knowledge.
You and 5 other guys in the room, and there's one guy that has made some money off it 6 years ago.
Aye, and he's here to testify that this was well worth your $5,000, mate. So, he gets slaves. He bought 9 to start with, which was back then kind of embarrassing, to
Oh,
be
I thought it
honest.
was a modest.
9 was like,
What are they going to do?
9? What you got to do with that, mate?
What's the ideal like volume of slaves for a beginner? Like, see if I look this up on like WikiHow, now it's got the pictures and it's like if you're buying slaves, like how many to get and that.
Well, you wanted at least 20
Right.
to be like respected, to be like, right, that guy's, he's got slaves.
That's mad. Having slaves is what got you like
Reputation.
reputation.
Aye,
mate.
no, he's got all sorts of slaves.
Mate, listen to him.
He-
Not now, when you're with your dad, when you're a wee guy or something, and you bump into like Bertie Auld or something. It's like, here, by the way, listen, he knows what he's talking about, by the way.
Bertie, mate.
You better learn. He's got fucking 27 slaves, son. Right, listen to him now.
So you wanted 20 to have to be seen as like a somebody. Do you know what I mean? To be
Aye.
like, oh, he's got 20 slaves, that guy.
Aye.
So he's still in Tennessee. He's living it up, mate. He gains notoriety in Tennessee. He starts moving up the system in Tennessee as well. He became like, he was like the only lawyer there. Like he learned under this guy in Tennessee who was like a Scots-Irish immigrant and on. He was like, well, because you're one as well, I'll teach you how to do all this. And he passed the bar, got made a lawyer. And then they were like, wait, hold on. Because they got made a state, Tennessee.
Right.
And then they were like, wait, we don't even have a fucking judge for like a court in that.
Aye,
And they were like,
tradition.
Mad Andy fucking knows all that shit. Like, Mad Andy just was like, I'll do it.
Aye.
So he was very much about progressing himself. Like he wasn't just happy, and you'll see this in his whole life, he's never happy with just like what he's got. Wasn't into like Greek philosophy and that. Do you know what I mean? He was very much like, I want more. Like got 9 slaves, and then he was like, that's definitely not enough. He ended up owning hundreds.
Right, okay.
But he's moving up in Tennessee. He's like moving up position. He's the judge, and then he keeps moving up and he keeps moving up. He's still quite young at this point. I think he was only 24 when he got made the judge in Tennessee. And then he gets made major general, because there's like wars happening and that with the Native Americans, and they're like, right, we're a state, we need like a general to be in charge of our army, and he's like, mate, I'll fucking do it.
Don't worry about it.
I'll be that guy. It was between him and another guy, but the guy picking who it was going to be was like a pal of his. So you get kind of in the back door.
It's no what, you know, who you know.
That applies through right through history, mate. Right through it. So he becomes Major General of Tennessee, and in a war with native tribe called Creek Nation, he's appointed Major General, leading American forces in a brutal war. While Jackson's military success brought him fame, his methods were often harsh. He was known for his ruthless approach to both Native American tribes and even his own troops. His treatment of prisoners and his brutal suppression of opposition earned him a reputation as a man of action. So he was extremely honest as well. Like, he would never now that way, like George Washington was quite famous for his ability to know when to retreat. That was what his like main attribute was. It wasn't that he was pure fierce, and it was like he knew exactly, because Washington was just a general in an army. They were like, he's the best one, fucking make him president. And then his main thing was like, right, we're outnumbered here. Because like a war back then was like, right, I'll fucking run right down there. Yous go down the sides. Like, it wasn't a pure...
It's like a war of attrition.
So knowing when to retreat was like a pure good... Like being like, right, we're going to all die if we try and fight this. So what we'll do, we'll retreat, we'll get more people. Like, it was like a mad skill. But whereas he was like the opposite, he was like, fuck that, we're going in and we are winning. And if any of you pussies run away, I will fucking kill yous. Like, yeah, that's the way his mind was. So he's known as a man of action, but also as a man who could be ruthless when pursuing his goals. His victories, particularly in the Creek War and the Battle of New Orleans, gave Jackson the political capital to run for president.
Mate, he was the general that won the Battle of New Orleans. Oh, that's like a pure huge deal, isn't it? Like, so was he? So was he part of? Oh, he wouldn't have been about for like the Civil War, but he was in the South. You were saying? Aye.
He was like a southern. He's like a southern general with like southern beliefs. Like, he believed in the slave trade. He believed that like we can go and take land for anybody we want. There was no like peace about him. It was all like, I'm a jeweler. Like, this is what I do, mate.
He's get see for that time and all that. It's very Japanese-esque.
Just like straight into war. Like, don't care how many casualties we need to win.
Well, I'll kill you. That's a bad Japanese mindset, innit?
Like, I'll be the one to do it. So his victories in those two wars gave him the political capital to run for president. And by the time he became president in 1829, he was already a well-established war hero, and his military background played a key role in shaping his populist appeal. And populist, if you don't know what it is, populist is just, so like kind of like Trump now, where they're appealing to the majority, which is like the working class, the issues that the working class deal with. No, like, you know, how much billionaires are getting, kind of do with that, I suppose, because that affects the lower class. But he was all about like like a common man, and he wasn't about like elitist, like aristocrats, and
all
like,
these newfangled cities,
like international affairs. He was like, I'm a guy that deals with what's going on in this country. So that's how he became so popular with the people, especially in the South and the West. He became really popular because he was like a common man. So the first time he tries to become president is in 1824 against John Quincy Adams. John Quincy Adams was the son of another president, John Adams.
Who was,
I think he was one of the founding fathers, wasn't he? So he's his son. And John Quincy Adams was actually like quite a good guy. He was like quite elitist in that, but he was a nice guy. Like, he was the first, I think he's the first president to ride on a train, like ever, like on a steam train. He used to ride about in a wee blanket and like talk to everybody, and they come up and tell them stories and all that. So he was a good guy, but the people loved Jackson. Like, this is very Trump-like. Like, see this, you could apply it to like modern day politics, and this guy's Trump.
Yep.
So he was a war hero. He was a self-made man. Maybe no Trump, but he hated the establishment of the government, and he hated the banks, and he hated that. He was just like about war and about the people rising up. He was a man of the people. John Quincy Adams was seen as many as a member of the political elite. He was an intellectual aristocrat, but while he was respected, he was still seen as representing the establishment.
Yep.
So even though he wasn't that bad a guy, he was still seen as this sort of figure that was like, wait, that's the fucking old government. Because you've got to remember, every president, so he's running to be the 6th president here. And every president that had become before him was like a northerner, like really smart, love like the French, and like it was like an
Literature,
they were like upper class people. Andrew Jackson wasn't
He's a
at all. He's a
dirtbag,
dirty boy. So because he was so popular with the working class people, he gained the most votes in presidential history.
Oof.
So like by the biggest landslide anybody's ever won, like see if you counted all the votes.
But per capita.
Aye. So obviously there's more people now, but percentage wise,
Yep.
he would have won that election more than any president in history.
That's mad.
But
And he had 100-odd slaves.
aye, but that was like just normal back
I
then.
know,
It was
it's
like,
mad.
I'm not going to vote for him. He's no get slaves. Like,
Aye.
who the fuck?
Aye,
Like,
what president didn't have
it's
slaves?
funny as well because, like, see Thomas Jefferson. I think he was 2nd or 3rd, maybe 3rd president. He was like, no, we need to abolish slavery.
Aye.
But he had slaves,
Aye.
and he got one of his slaves pregnant,
Aye.
and then didn't even free the kids.
Aye, mate.
Just
I
kept
heard
the
that.
kids as
Aye,
slaves.
That's mad, innit?
So
And then I think even like fucking Lincoln, they hadn't. Was it Lincoln that abolished them? I think he had them or all.
you've got to have a few.
Aye.
He's like, I'm not talking about just slaves and I'm talking about having hunters in.
See these big, massive plantations with fucking 150 slaves. You can't be having that. innit?
That's what I'm talking about.
One or two in the house.
But who else we got to clean for it? But what's funny as well is the sort of the northern people who were trying to like abolish slavery and that, they abolished it in the north. So have you seen 12 Years a Slave?
No.
So his whole thing, and this is just like about this period where 12 Years a Slave, the guy is living in the north. He's a free black man, but there was like a slave trade where like he was like a musician, right? And then 2 guys meet him in a pub and they're like, we've heard you're a great musician, we want to sign you to this big deal. And they go out and they take him out and they get him fucking steaming in that, and they're having a laugh, and then they leave him in an alley and 2 guys come kidnap him, send him to the south, and he's a slave.
Oh
and
my
he's been
God.
free for like 30 years, and now he's got to go back and be a slave. And he's like, they've captured him. He's like, what are you doing? They're like, you're a boy from Georgia, aren't you? And he's like, no, I'm a free man. I've been up here for fucking ages. And they're like, no. And they whip him until he's like, I'm for Georgia.
Oh, mate, that's
And then they
horrible.
take him 12 years, and then he gets freed after 12 years. But and his family and that are left in the north, and they don't know where he is.
my
They don't know
God.
what's happened to him.
It's
nothing.
fucking the worst
It's a-
hangover ever, innit?
It's a great movie, mate. It's not a comfortable watch, but it's a good.
Aye.
It's good, man. But this is round about this time. So what happened in this election? To go back to this one, this is in 1824. So he wins the vote, right? But the guy who was in charge of counting the votes, a guy called Henry Clay, and Henry Clay was for Kentucky.
Right.
During the Creek War, Jackson comes out after that war, he's won it, and he's like, it's good winning that war, but see all the guys for Kentucky, they are fucking shite bags, by the way. Every one of them fucking shat it. They're a disgrace to their country.
so funny.
He comes out and he just calls them out. That's what I'm saying. It's like Trump is like, he'll just come out and be like, they are pussies, by
Mate,
the way.
that's like when you hear Arsenal winning 3-0 and Arteta comes out and he's like, we were rotten. We were
terrible today, we nuts it after.
Aye, we were not good enough whatsoever. He's
So-
like, we've won the war, but he's like, see they bastards.
See, Kentucky fucking shite bags, by the way. So this was like 12 years ago, so 12 years before this election that he's came out and said that. But Henry Clay was for Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
And when they're counting the votes, Henry Clay's like, fuck this fucking Jackson guy. Who the fuck do you think he is? He rigs the election, puts it in John Quincy Adams' favour. John Quincy Adams becomes president.
No way.
And the people titled this The Corrupt Bargain because immediately after Jackson lost, Henry Clay became Secretary of State under John Quincy Adams.
Oof.
So it's almost like he's like, right, you fucking rig the votes and I'll get you a position.
Mate,
Which
that's-
probably happens still the new, mate.
2016, mate. 2020, mate. Mate, that still gets spoke about the now. I know, like, mad election deniers are looked at as mad nutcases and that, but there's That, mate, it happens, fuck's sake.
No, listen, if it can happen to Andy Jackson, it can happen to anybody.
It happens to the besties, man.
Master jeweler Andy Jackson.
Aye, mate. He's just got mad Henry Dice Clay or whatever he's got away for a fucking
Henry
jewel.
Clay. So he rigs it in his favour. This is called the corrupt bargain, because Henry Clay then gets a job under John Quincy Adams' government. But Jackson's followers believed this was all part of a backroom deal to screw over the will of the people. So Jackson's supporters spent 4 years rallying around that idea, painting Adams as a part of a corrupt political elite that didn't care about regular folks. It was a big deal, and it set the stage for the next election. But despite losing that presidency election, Jackson's popularity grew even bigger. His bitterness over the 1824 election and the perception of a rigged system fueled his desire for revenge in the next election. He began to build a broader coalition of supporters, especially among the common people, farmers and working class voters who felt left out of the political establishment.
Mate, that's actually just happened.
That's Trump, mate.
That's happening, mate. And then he's got that is exact same as 4 years ago.
Exactly. Trump lost that election to Joe Biden. He says there's no way I lost that. There's like
Russian interference and
there's details of like people going around nursing homes and going to elderly people and be like, Biden in it, right? Cool. Cheers. They're like deaf and that. They're like, what? So Trump's like the mail-in votes as well because of COVID and stuff. He's like, that was rigged. Whether it was or no, who knows? But he was stating it was rigged. That's exactly what happened here. Jackson's like, he's like, yous all fucking know I should be fucking president. Mm-hmm. Yous know that.
So let's all go down to the Capitol.
And so even though he lost, he gained a bigger support through losing than he did if he won. Because people could see that they're like, we're fed up of this. It's the same thing they know where people are like looking at the presidents, they're looking at Biden, they're looking at Kamala, and they're like, what are they doing? But like, what decisions are they making? Like, they can't see, they're not doing anything for us.
Aye.
So he gets a bigger support out the back of that. He runs again in 1828, and this time he's a nasty little bitch about it. Right? He's fucking raging for the last one.
He holds a grudge, didn't he?
Oh, the Jackson grudge. You don't want to be the end of it. So he would make up rumours about Adams and get them spread nationwide in the newspapers. And then if any rumours came his way, he would be like, lies.
Straight away, fake news.
Lies, fake news. And at the time, Jackson had a reputation for being a bad-tempered man with a short fuse. He had literally shot people in duels over absolutely nothing. So Adams' campaign painted Jackson as a brutal, uneducated frontiersman who was just one bad day away from becoming a dictator. The goal was to make him seem too dangerous and unstable to be president.
Paint by numbers on it.
And this is actually, I don't think I noted this down, but so it says Adams' camp took a nasty swing at Jackson's wife, Rachel Jackson. They spread rumours that Rachel had committed bigamy, which is getting married even though you're already married, which she had. Sorry, Rachel, if you're watching, you did.
Wait, so is that what that is? Bigamy?
Bigamy, aye.
I like that word.
Aye.
Because it's like it's saying, oh, aye, it's big.
You're big.
Aye, it's quite big of me, isn't it? It's quite big of me. Two misses, aye. Two husbands, one's a president. It's big of me, innit? You know what I mean?
Aye. So obviously the backstory to Rachel Jackson and Andy Jackson is Rachel had married Jackson while technically still being married to her first husband, who had abandoned her but never fully finalised the divorce. So Adams' supporters used this as fodder, calling her an adulteress and Jackson a bigamist. So this election, which is mad, is, see the term mudslinging? This election is where that term comes from. Because the people were saying, because they were just throwing insults at each other, like they would get in like a debate and be like, you are a fucking prick.
The right honourable gentleman.
So this is the first election where they actually were like, he's a fucking dafty, that cunt. You know what I mean? Like before that, they would be like, I believe that and this is the first one. It's like, Jackson's like, you are a fucking mad posh prick, mate.
And then like the journalists are like, it's just mudslinging.
That's where that term comes from. How mad's it? But the attack on Jackson's wife was like crazy personal for a time like that. Like, you never spoke about people's wives and that. And Rachel was a deeply sensitive woman who had been emotionally affected by these accusations. She was so distressed by the slander that she suffered a mental breakdown, and tragically she died of a heart attack just weeks before Jackson was sworn into office.
Woofed.
Jackson never forgave those who attacked his wife and would carry that that bitterness with him throughout his presidency.
Imagine man Quincy sitting like fuck.
Fuck, if we went too far with all the wife shit, people are like, no, we need to hammer the wife thing home. It's the only way.
Andrew Jackson just sitting fuming.
He's like, ah, mate, they're talking about my fucking wife.
And then she dies, and then it's like their fault.
Aye.
And you've got that nutcase, mate. Andy Jackson.
He's already nuts, mate. You don't need to rile him up
Just
anymore.
murdered these misses.
Aye. So, that election, Jackson ends up winning at a complete landslide, and he's the first president of the people. The first man in charge who was not a highly educated elitist, and it was seen as a move towards a revolution. So this is like, until then, this is the biggest like election, sort of revolutionary election, which is actually signifying a change is going to happen.
Aye.
See the way like Obama sort of, but it's like black guy.
Change,
Like, this
aye.
is like, we're changing the landscape of like what this country is. This was like the first one of them, because as I said, everybody before that was like well spoken, so and nobody could relate to them because they were like, we don't even like that. We're not farmers, mate.
Aye, we can't talk.
They don't know
properly.
what you're saying. Mate. You ever seen the movie Idiocracy?
Aye.
See how like he goes forward and all the language is like pure
Dumbed in.
Aye, and he's like talking and they're like
like idiots, mate.
Posh fucking idiot.
That is because that it's probably like, because even now when you see somebody that's like, see when you listen to somebody that's like pure Queen's English or like a mad billionaire who's on a pure other, you can't, you're a bit like, that's it, they're mad, like mad Zuck and that, like mad alien people.
When Musk talks and that, sometimes you're like, well, we got to capitalise on this. You're like, wait, that guy's not the same thing as me.
He's not the same, in the same ballpark. But then back then, I think the disparity was even madder because it was like poverty, complete poverty, and then like generals and that, and then it was like the top dogs that were making millions off of like people. Not what I mean, selling humans, like it's
slave trade and
it's a pure different world, mate. So then. So that must have been the first one. It wasn't pure maintaining the status quo and that.
Exactly. It was like a change, so people were like, here we fucking go.
50 year, I know. I was trying to work out, I think. So you said, so that was 1827 or something? Did you say it was president?
1828,
Aye, 1828. So that was like 1776 to 1828, 24 plus 28. Try to do quick maths, and it's like 52 years of like just the same gear.
Just like 2-term presidents, basically every time.
Because 8 years in it, and then because I think, and maybe I was trying to, because he was like the 7th or 8th or whatever. I think somebody served like 4 in a row in that. Like now, like early days, like I'll just like now like getting like Davy Martindale in or something to like steady the shit, like it's Big Sam or something. Like I think like I must have been Washington or something, mate. Just keep him. We'll just keep it ticking here.
Everything's fine, mate. We've only got 5 wars going on now.
We'll just keep it ticking here till we get done these wars, right? See when these Indians away, we'll never war again. I swear.
So he gets in, and this is now we're going on to things he's done as president. Guys, unfortunately, YouTube absolutely hates us. We don't get monetization on any of our videos. That means we don't get any ad money from anything we upload on YouTube.
Please give us money.
So we rely on people to go and subscribe to our Patreon.
People say money doesn't buy happiness. They're fucking liars. They're liars and fucking bastards.
At our Patreon, you subscribe, you pay a monthly fee. There's a range of different tiers.
Money's everything, mate. Money's like all. Money's all we need.
Where you get more episodes, early episodes.
Klarna debt, credit card debt, Foxy Bingo debt. I bought a speedboat. Can't afford that thing.
Once you subscribe to the Patreon, you'll start getting bonus episodes. So you'll get things like different perks. You'll get early episodes. You'll get access to the Discord. Where
please, £4 a pop when I'm buying butter.
And it allows you to support us to get all our own equipment. That's the reason that we're standing here today with all our own stuff. It's because of people supporting the Patreon.
Lurpak is out the question. I'm on Norpak at the best of times.
So if you feel like giving a bit more and you'll get maybe bonus episodes, early episodes, vlogs, things that you don't see on the YouTube.
I think podcasts just growing trees. All these cameras and that, it's expensive. Everything is expensive. This is expensive.
Then go over to our Patreon, patreon.com/Riley's Gaff.
All right.
The merch is back. It was gone, and now it's back. We've made it the better, sexy, hot, voluptuous t-shirts for hot singles and couples. Cheaper. Well, inflation and that is more money, but you can wear it. You could shower, dry yourself after a shower bit. You could roll it up into a wee ball and kick it about with all your mates. There was no slaves or anything involved making any of the clothes. Just joking. Go to rileysgaff.com/shop and you can buy it. Right off the bat, madness, mate. His inauguration, he invited literally anybody who wants to come down to the White House to come down.
Aye.
He was like, anybody, if you want to come down, come down.
Open invitation.
Mate, like thousands of people turned up, right? Partied for days, like just steaming, because he was a pure alky as well, so he's like, fuck it. They were partying for days, damaging property, shitting on the floor and smudging cheese onto the walls.
Oh, yes, mate, what a party.
Jackson himself actually snuck outside because it was getting that wild, like he couldn't even handle it.
Went out for us now.
Aye, he was like, I was need to chill out. And he's got a vape now. So he snuck out, but there's a rule in the White House, right? Like an unwritten sort of weird rule that you're not actually, you can't actually ask people to leave.
Oh, aye.
Like you're not allowed to be like, right, you need to go now.
Aye.
So they weren't allowed to ask any of them to leave. So what they had to do was put barrels of whiskey outside and wait till they all ran out, then lock the door.
Yeah, that's good.
Just trick them.
Aye, cartoon shit. Like, we'll get a good few thousand of them out.
Aye, they all just, they're like, mate, there's whiskey outside now. And they all just ran out and all like, right, get the fucking doors locked. It's like the modern day of like, here, what to use for a taxi.
Aye.
It's like the modern day version of that. So they tricked their people, locked the doors, boom, fine. In his first week in office, he removed 900 plus government officials and replaced them with all his pals.
Yes.
So that's 10% of the whole nation's government. He was like, fuck off.
Yes.
This was seen as by supporters as a good move to rid the government of corruption, but it was seen by his opposition as an insane move which would only hurt the country and strengthens Jackson's position.
Aye.
So obviously it's like everybody around him now is like, mate, you're the fucking man. There was no dude that was going to be like, I don't know about all this, Andy. What's this war and that?
Just sound like yes men. That's what we need to do. To achieve greatness as Andy Jackson did do.
You need to, mate.
You need people just going, you're doing great, mate.
Yes, man.
Hurry up. Keep going.
He would randomly invite people to duel him outside the back of the White House. A man named Charles Dickinson, who was like a renowned duelist, like he was like seen as like he's a fucking good dueler. He had an issue with Jackson over a gambling debt, and he insulted Jackson's wife.
His deed wife?
Deed wife, mate.
Oh.
So Jackson called his wife a bigamist and Jackson a coward.
Aye.
So Jackson said, "Moan up the fucking White House, you bam, and we'll see."
Well, I'm like, no, where I stay, fuck's sake.
And he couldn't go to Andrew Jackson's address, mate. Cash there.
$5,000 there.
So the pair stood 24 feet apart. Dickinson took the first shot and hit Jackson high in the ribs.
Ooh.
Now here's the most iconic part. Despite the bullet wound, Jackson didn't even flinch. He raised his pistol and fired at Dixon. His shot was deadly. The bullet hit Dixon right in the stomach and causing massive internal damage. Dickinson, who had been confident of his own skill, staggered backward and fell. He died from his injuries shortly after the duel.
Wait, how can somebody have an open shot to the president? How can the president be like, "Moan then"?
See, by the time he died, he died with 12 bullets in his body that never got removed. 12 bullets. He was just like, it's fucking alright, mate. Just fucking, it's alright, mate.
That's so funny. That's who you need in charge of.
That's who we need, mate. Trump's got a way to go. He's still got a few shots to take.
He's had a couple.
He's got a wee skiff in the ear. Andy Jackson wouldn't even notice that one.
Oh, no, I know.
I thought it was a bee that stung him or something.
I know, I defo.
And he was reported to have easily over 100 duels while in office.
While in office, mate, that's
He's out battling in that still.
Because he's always like, he's like foreign affairs ministers and all that, they're all just like, aye mate, whatever you want to do, you can do. He's just like, this wee guy on Twitter saying all this mad shit about
He's called me a fucking pussy.
I'm going to jail him right in the back. I didn't bother me.
Going up the White House, mate. Fucking see.
Bring a team. Pull him up.
He also hated the banks, like he hated anything that represented like an establishment.
The system, aye.
So he entered office and immediately refused to renew the Bank of America. Just like, nah, no doing it. So you weren't even allowed to do that. Like presidents were like, right, you can do this, do that. The bank's not, you need to keep that going or else we're fucked.
Aye.
He went in, he was like, it got renewed every like 4 years or something. To be like, right, the banks can continue to run.
Either licenses and all that.
He was like, I'm no fucking signing that. So he just refused to renew the bank and completely collapsed the economy.
Oh my God.
This is within like weeks of getting into office, completely fucked our whole economy up. There was nowhere to process currency or lend any money. America didn't have a functioning bank again till 1913.
No fucking danger.
See, that's how much he fucked it up, mate.
That's nuts, isn't it?
What's ironic as well is, whose face jinx on the fucking $20 bill in America?
Is it Jackie?
Fucking Andy Jackson, mate.
Jackie. Well, mate, listen, if anybody deserves to be on the dollar bill, mate, I think it's Jackie.
He would
boy.
hate that, but wouldn't he?
No, he loves the dough, mate. He just doesn't like the big. He just wants everything to
Big
keep them in the mattress and that. Know
because
what I mean?
He wanted like everything to be traded in like gold, silver, and shit. He was like, nah, that's money shit.
Oh, did he? Right.
He was like, nah, fuck all that mad woke shit.
Aye.
Gold and silver, maybe slaves.
You're telling me this paper's worth like an ounce of gold?
I like he couldn't wrap his head around it. He was like, this is nonsense. By the way,
it's not going to work.
No, I could just make another bit of paper and what? No, I mean that was his thinking. Aye, so completely fucked the economy up. Weeks like crashed it. Like there was no economy. Jackson's Indian Removal Act of 1830 is one of the most infamous and tragic actions in American history. The law allowed Jackson to forcibly relocate Native American tribes living in the southeastern United States to the land of west of the Mississippi River. This was wildly unpopular among Native Americans and many others, but Jackson was adamant.
Aye.
It was very much a like, this is what I fucking want to do, and I don't care if you think it's shite, I'm doing it.
A bit of foreshadowing in it.
I don't care what you are saying. So, and what a funny story is, the tribes, right? So there's like 6 tribes that all got together and they're like, right, we need a guy to go and talk to this fucking president to like try and calm shit down a bit.
Yep.
Because like, it was literally just like the army could just come in and be like, fuck off. Like that's what he passed a law on. There was no like, right, the Indians can have that, but we'll have that, but if you come onto that, we'll shoot you. It was like, no, we can just come in, kill all yous and take this land. That he was like, pass that. Banks? Fuck off. Don't need a bank, mate. So the tribes all got together, they got their most respected leader out of the whole gang to go to the White House and meet with Jackson to try and come to some sort of agreement. And after 2 hours of speaking to him, he left the White House in tears, knowing that they were completely fucked. Oh, they're like, this guy's like, there's no talking to this guy.
Can't reason with
me. There's no talking to this geezer. He also literally threatened to behead his vice president. The first major issue between Jackson and Vice President John Calhoun came in the early 1830s during the nullification crisis. So the crisis was rooted in a conflict over tariffs, specifically the tariffs of abominations of 1828, which was passed by Congress and which South Carolina, Calhoun's home state, vehemently opposed. So Calhoun, who had been a proponent of states' rights and the idea of nullification, which is the theory that a state could invalidate a federal law it deemed unconstitutional, took a hard stance against the tariff, which he believed harmed southern agricultural interests. He secretly authored the South Carolina Exposition and Protest, which outlined his arguments in favour of nullification. So basically, he didn't want this to happen, and he wrote a mad manifesto thing that was like going against the president.
Saying
as
like, vice president.
As vice president.
And then Big Andy Jackson's like,
as you can probably guess, Jackson's not going to take this too well, right?
Like it.
The believed betrayal infuriated Jackson, leading him to publicly state, like, out to a crowd, said, this is what he said, John Calhoun, if you secede from my nation, I will secede your entire head from your body.
Oh, hard as nails, mate.
That's hard as fuck.
I'll chop your head off.
You try and fucking break off in my country and do mad other shit, I'll break your whole head off.
And that's what will happen.
And he knew it would happen.
Mate, it's a pure mad, like, I've thought about how funny, it's no funny cutting somebody's head off, but how, like, it's fucking mental, like, how...
The guy in Edinburgh?
I don't know if somebody cut his head off. That was a...
It ended up at, maybe it was fucking Andy Jackson.
Andy Jackson could have been back, mate, but no, like, having the willpower to go through with, like, sawing a cunt's nut off, know what I mean? Like, being that raging that you're like, right, that's it, I'm not just killing you, I'm going to cut your head off. It's a fucking...
It's a next level of anger.
Aye.
Andy Jackson had it in abundance, lad.
In
abundance, lad. So, as well, another thing he done, I don't know if you've heard of the Trail of Tears.
I've heard of that, but I don't know what it is.
So, the policy led to the Trail of Tears, a forced march during which thousands of Cherokee, Creek, Choctaw, Chickasaw and Seminole people died from exposure, disease and starvation. Jackson's actions are widely viewed as genocide of the indigenous people, and his determined push for removal resulted in the death of thousands and the destruction of many Native American cultures. Jackson's views on the Native Americans were deeply rooted in his belief that they were an obstacle to American expansion and that their removal was necessary for the growth of the United States. So, forced to march thousands of miles, just keep going, lads.
Mate, they might have been a wee bit in the way, but at what cost, man?
I know.
The Trail of Tears.
But Andy Jackson, this is why he's so like polarising, because it's like, right, he done all these terrible things, but then you're like, wait, was it for the better or was that terrible? Or like, do you know what I mean? It's like, see, at the time, this just shows how the times change. It's like, at the time, he was like a mad hero. Like, there was people that didn't like what he was doing, but he was a hero, being like, he's fucking taking us forward and that. But then, you look at the shit he done, you're like, that was terrible.
You need to break eggs, mate.
Make an omelette?
You need to break eggs to make an omelette, and every empire's had a good few omelettes.
Aye.
That's for sure.
Oh, plenty of omelettes, mate. So, another thing as well, there was a slave revolt at a fort down south. They'd all took over this fort and they demanded to be freed or sent up north where slavery was abolished. So the news of this gets back to Andy Jackson. And you would think he's like, right, I'm going to negotiate something where I'm like, right, we'll let some of yous free, the rest of yous go back, or like we'll pick some of yous out or whatever. Nah. His response was just to aim hundreds of cannonballs at the fort, and he killed every one of them and other people that were just in the area. He was just like, just fucking bomb the shit out of that, essentially. Like, I'm Kyber's dealing with, I've got these fucking engines.
Got a command shop there.
I'm fucking dealing with all sorts. So now I've got a duel at fucking half 3. Going to just fight, just cannonball.
That's nuts, innit, bro?
That was his response.
That's like a pure 13-year-old's like playing balloon tower defence or something. It's like pure, what do you call it, the wee pigs that you shoot off the thing?
I know what you're talking about. I don't know.
The wee game on your phone that you pull it. Angry Birds, mate. There's just a way to play Angry Birds. Just boom, mate. Just fuck that shit.
And he all did. Sorted.
Hey, sound that is.
However, he was a popular president. He was the first president who travelled around the country believing that the people of the nation deserve the right to see their president and meet him. So, because if you think back in the day, the people that have like never seen the president, because you're like living in fucking Georgia, the president's in Washington. So it's like you've never even seen the guy, like actual. Because obviously now you see videos, you see pictures, alright, you've never seen him in the flesh, but you know what he looks like. You know, he was the first one. He used to travel about everywhere and like meet people.
They all do that now, didn't they?
Aye,
like all the big cities.
He made it popular because there was a British journalist that was like, I think he was in America, and he's like, yeah, I wonder if I could meet the president. And he went to the White House like, unannounced. They opened the door and they're like, "Aye, mate, would you want?" And he's like, "I want to meet the president." And he's like, "All right, is he expecting you?" And he's like, No, I just want to talk to him for a while. And they're like, right, come in here and sit down and wait. And he's waiting. And Mad Andy Jackson pops his head out of a meeting and he's like, what is it? Like, what do you want? And he's like, just want to talk to you for a while. And he's like, can you wait like an hour? And he's like, aye, man, aye.
Go get a scran and that, get my haircut and then I'll come back.
Go for a chop now. Waits an hour and then Andrew Jackson comes out, he invites him in, talks to him for like 3 years.
That's mad, isn't it? Because there was a thing a few years ago, maybe like 10 years ago or something. I don't know why I think it was that John Ronson that done, like, we've talked about some of his stuff before.
Aye.
I think it was him, might not be, but like kidded on to be like a caterer or something. Like it's illegal to be a journalist. It's illegal to be a journalist and kid on you're not a journalist and going to the White
Right.
House or something now.
Aye, because he done that.
It might be because I'm sure that was a mad thing. Like it was like a big deal in the news that a journalist got into the White House.
Aye.
And it was him, I'm sure. But obviously back in the day, it's just like, I am a journalist and I want to talk to you. It's just
Aye.
like, nothing to hide,
Aye,
mate.
mate. So see these Indians.
They're all gone. They're all gone.
John Calhoun, pussy. Kentucky, pussies. It was just like he was known as like being like crazy honest. That's why like even when that guy came to talk to him about the Indian removal thing and that, he didn't like go, no what, like see presidents knew like if Trump's not going to Iran and that, he's like, look, we won't fucking do it and that, but in his politicking, he's like, they think we're not going to do it and then we'll do that. He was like, no, we're going to fucking kill all of you. Like, he would just tell them.
Plan accordingly. We're coming. We're coming.
Aye, we are coming, so just do what you can,
Or
really.
like that slave plantation, like we've got 60,000 cannons coming your way, mate. Whatever, use what to do. Use what to boost, you can boost
Aye,
it.
but I'm telling you it's happening. He's also the first president to have an assassination attempt.
Alright.
So one of the more bizarre episodes in Jackson's presidency happened in 1835 when an assassination attempt was made against him. A man named Richard Lawrence, who had delusions of grandeur and believed himself to be the rightful king of England. He was just somewhat painter. And he was like, I'm the fucking king of England, I think. I'm pretty sure I'm the king of England.
Aye, mate, you get them all the time. People are just like, I am the Prince of Wales's cousin and I declare this is my land. It's so funny.
Like, you want fucking the fucking premier down the road, mate? What are you talking about? So he thought that if he killed Jackson, he could like just take over America and that. He's like, well, I killed the president, so I'm fucking. He was just nuts. So he was coming out the Capitol building in Washington, Jackson. Lawrence snuck up behind him and fired his pistol twice at close range, but the gun misfired both times. And Jackson, who had been in numerous life-threatening situations in his life, responded by attacking him with his cane and nearly beat him to death with his cane.
Mate,
Imagine somebody try to shoot you and you're like, fucking dumb. Fucking do now, mate. That's basically what he done.
But imagine trying to shoot the president and be like, bang, bang, and just be like, oh, fuck.
He's getting the cane, man. The fuck?
The famous Jackson cane, man.
Aye, jeez, man.
Lucky didn't he have his 2-2 on him, mate.
I know, mate.
Oh, bang, mate.
It would have been done. I mean, he wouldn't have even got a shot off on him.
Yeah, I know.
So by the time Jackson left office in March 1837, the economy was on the brink of collapse. The panic of 1837 led to bank failures, widespread unemployment, and a severe economic downturn that would last for several years. Although Jackson was no longer in office when the full effects hit, his policies were seen as a key factor in the crisis. So he basically done shit that was that stupid. Bear in mind, this guy gambled every bit of money he ever had away, and they're like, mate, you're in charge of this economy. He's like, I think just fucking CD banks and that. Nah.
See what happens.
Like, yeah, the dumbest guy. He was just like a war hero, but he wasn't like dead smart. You know what I mean? So he done shit that was that bad. Like presidents, like 30 years later, were just having to start dealing with it because it had that big a knock-on effect. Like,
it had to have like 6 terms to get back to normality.
Essentially done what the Tories done in this country. Like they fucking fuck the economy up, then like somebody else wins and they're like that. There's no money left, by the way. Right, you enjoy it. Have a good night, mate. Right, yeah, here's the keys and that. 10 down. 10 down. Right, you saw all that shit, mate. We fucking spent a lot of it.
It's like the night shift, leaving all the work.
Fuck off. No bosses in, mate. Fuck off. So I fucked it up. Then a guy called Martin Van Buren takes over, who done nothing.
Good tunes, but
aye, mate, aye.
Great tunes.
Great. Tries to resurrect the economy. And what's interesting about Martin Van Buren, that's a sort of done on Andy Jackson, but what's interesting about Martin Van Buren is he's the first president to have pamphlets made to send out to people, right? Because like I think the printing press was like just coming in. He was like, I want fucking mad sheets, me on it, mad shit I'm going to do in that
Vote for
economy. So what's interesting about that is he would sign off every pamphlet with the initials OK, because he was from Old Kinderhook in New York. And this is where the saying OK comes from, because he would sign everyone just OK at the bottom. And that's why we say OK.
That's fucking class,
How
mate.
nuts is that?
I'm sure I've looked that up before because I was wondering what it meant. And
Old Kinderhook.
Aye, mate, I don't know. That's mental.
So Van Buren doesn't really do anything, but a special mention to the man after Van Buren Harrison. This is funny. Harrison was deemed as too old to run for office by many of the public, right? I think he was like probably 40. They're like, that guy's dying in like 5 years. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, can't he fucking take charge? So there's like a widespread thing of like, that guy's fucking far too old.
Aye.
He done his entire campaign for his front garden. Didn't he go anywhere, mate? Just sat in the front garden like that. Fucking vote for me. I'll fucking sort all this shit out. And people like, we're not voting for this old guy. He got called Old Granny. That was his nickname.
Old Granny Harrison.
So it was a nationwide thing like, this fucking guy's too old. But see, to prove, so he ended up winning.
Right.
And to prove that he was strong enough to lead the nation, he delivered an 8,000 word inauguration speech in the freezing cold outside of the White House. Like pissing rain, freezing,
Right.
fucking terrible, right?
Bad idea for the old Harrison, mate.
Aye, it was. He immediately contracted pneumonia and died 8 months later.
That's so funny, mate.
Crazy, mate.
That's so funny, man. Just being like, I'll show you, boy. I've still got it.
I've got it. No,
Contriving.
He's like, no, I need 8,000 words of all.
And just keeps going, mate.
But that's the story of Andy Jackson. I think you die with 12 bullets in you.
Oh, in you, like not even 12 bullet wounds, 12 bullets inside your body. Not even,
Not even
pulled
moved out. No,
Aye.
there's like, nah, I can't move them out. But I think we should do one. And let us know if you like this, because I'm thinking about doing Theodore Roosevelt as well. He is another nuts one.
Aye,
The
he's
fu-
a bit of a mad bastard.
The funny, I won't go right into him, but the funniest thing that he done, and if we revisit it, we'll go at it again. He used to invite the world heavyweight champion in it, like to the White House and have a fist fight with him in the White House, and he was, because in his head he's like, well, obviously I need to like fight the world champ. Like that's the way his head was. Like the president should be able to fight. Like fuck. So he would invited Jack Johnson.
Right.
Old heavyweight champ, like used to fight 35 round fights, and all that,
Aye.
like way back. Invited him to the White House, and like everybody in his government, and that, like, mate, you need to stop doing this. Like, this isn't alright. Like, you don't want to fight these guys.
You don't need to.
Aye, and so he would do it in secret. He would like get one guy to be like, go get Jack Johnson, bring him down for this crap. And then Jack Johnson came down and he boxed him in his office.
In the Oval Office.
And Jack Johnson blinded him in one eye, and he had to deny that he was blind in one eye for the rest of his life.
Oh, I bet he put up a good fight.
I don't know too much. I think he could go for it.
Because they
Theodore.
used to do like presidential fitness tests and that. Can I imagine mad Trump doing that now, man? A treadmill and that.
He says he has done it.
Aye, what
He
a
said
shite.
the results were outstanding. He's never seen anything like it in his whole life.
How funny is that,
He
mate?
said I could run all day.
It-
He said like he was on. I mean, all he drinks is Coke.
Go.
Let's go on. I'm dying to talk about Trump, Kamala. Hope you enjoyed it, troops. That's Andy Jackson, 7th President of the United States. He's faced on the $20 bill. If you're in America, go look at it. He's one ugly bastard. Don't know how we got that Rachel Donaldson, but there you go, troops. Right, Patreon. We are coming to discuss Donald John Trump. Is it John Trump?
I just said J.
Donald J. Trump and Gambala.
Kamala.
Sign up now, patreon.com/Riley's Gaff. The free trial's still on. You can listen to the rest of this episode for $0.
Zouch.
But for the patrons who are already in, let's do it.
More now.
Let's do it.
More now.